do you think these bad assumptions come from?
I think it's probably a wide variety of a lot of different things. I think that there's a lot of crappy recruiters out there that will do anything just to make a buck.
True.
I think that there is, HR people to some extent don't like recruiters for the reasons that we talked about before. We're a necessary evil. We call them and flood them with, sales calls all day long, which you and I don't. I think that everybody has every client of ours has probably had a bad experience with a recruiter where they ultimately hired somebody and that person didn't work out. And what have we always said for years? Like, our faces are tied to our placements. Whether we like it or not, our faces are tied to our placements. And if that person doesn't work out, then we've got to replace them and get them somebody new. Thankfully, that has happened to us in very easily the single digits in terms of the percentage.
Count on one or two hands, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Over 20 something years. I think it's maybe one hand if it's half of the other hand in terms of people that haven't worked out. But that said, if somebody has a bad experience with a hire that they made through a recruiter, I think oftentimes they blame the recruiter of saying like, oh gosh, it wasn't worth that hire, right? Or gosh, it wasn't worth that investment that we paid. And I think sometimes, and again, this probably is a bit of a controversial topic too. I think sometimes the client forgets that they were part of the hiring process too, right?
Yeah, they made the final decision. Of
right,
course,
they made the final decision to hire that person.
Yeah.
And whether that was the correct move or not, I think, again, our faces get attached to those placements, whether we like it or not. And we've been saying this in a different version or different ways over the years, and that we are placing humans at companies, and humans are intangible. And humans, sometimes you get your freak flag and it flies and we're not able to catch it in the 4 or 5 conversations that we're having with these people, and part of those 4 or 5 conversations are internal or in-person meetings, right? We'll meet somebody for coffee, we'll meet somebody for lunch before we, send them off to a client. And we just can't tell. And they get hired and 2-3 months into it, a screw gets loose and, they're unhappy. And whether that's fair or not, I don't know. We're not given widgets, we're given humans.
Sure.
If a widget breaks, I could, if I was selling widgets, I could go give you a brand new widget for free. You'd be off and running again. But we're not. We're dealing with humans, and humans are intangible.
What's the difference between transactional recruiting and relationship-based recruiting, and how those experiences shape people's views?
Well, we've done a little bit of both throughout our careers, like the transactional stuff, as well as like the more personal-based recruiting. Transactional stuff really isn't really our bag.
No.
We'll do it, but it's not really how we built our names here locally, and it's not really the type of business which we like to engage in, right? The personal type touch recruiting is really what we really enjoy.
We experienced a transactional type recruiting from 2020 to 2023.
Yeah.
That was very much not our bag, like you said. And it was unfortunate. We thankfully do not work with that client anymore. We are much more of relationship-based recruiters, easily. I think that's where we excel the most is our clients. It's like when we started CDM, we had a select few of clients said, hey, I'm doing work with you two. I'm not doing work with the name of the company. And those are the relationship-based, some of our best clients we've ever had. And it's all because we take the time to know them. We make the investment in time to understand their culture, to understand their process, to understand their hiring team, what they look for, et cetera. And we dive in and we get them exactly what they need. And we get them resources that their internal teams were just unable to provide for them.
Have you ever helped someone land a role or find a hire that has felt especially meaningful?
Well, you could talk about the deal we closed on Friday.
Sure.
Again, same aforementioned company. We provided them with a chief technology officer, a chief engineer type of a placement, somebody that they would never have been able to find on their own.
No.
And we found them 3 very, very qualified people. And in our CDM technology type approach is we showed them sort of a gold, well, maybe not a gold, silver, and bronze, but we showed them, hey, here's what somebody with a really high salary looks like. Here's what somebody from a middle tier salary looks like, and here's what somebody that is, in a range that you have expressed that you would like to find somebody in. And I feel like we found them the best candidate in that particular range that we possibly could have. And I think that's not that person's first job for sure. It's probably one of their last jobs. They're very well seasoned in the electric vehicle space. I think that it is life-changing to some degree for that particular person. That person's moving from the Pacific Northwest down to San Diego, and is going to make a significant impact in that company and in that environment from a funding standpoint, and securing more funding, because that person, again, has been through the ropes, has been down that path before of talking to investors, making investors feel comfortable because they've performed this type of job, these types of duties before, and they're going to do that with this company, our client, I love that client. I can't imagine what life would be like without that client, for sure.
Yeah, and this last placement, I think that we'll be starting here soon. I think that it was really, what I really enjoyed about the whole process is the tailored white glove approach to filling that need.
Yeah,
by you, by me, by us both. So I think it was a good team approach.
100% agree.
Yeah.